Hello, and my name's Robbie from Girl Bike Glove. In this video, we're going to be talking about the difference between an air bike and a spin bike and how to choose the right one for you. Let's go. So if you're looking for a quick answer, air bikes are made for really short duration workouts. We're talking 20 minutes of intervals. They work the upper and the lower body and are generally made just for sitting. They range between $300 and $600 and aren't very interactive. Spin bikes, on the other hand, are made for short and long workouts. You can go in nice and light, or you can really challenge yourself. You can utilise a sitting and a standing position, and you mainly work the lower half of your body and your core. Spin bikes have many interactive options, such as the Nordic Track S27i or the Peloton, and range anywhere from $100 to $3,500. So what is an air bike? So an air bike is a type of exercise bike that uses a fan to generate resistance. You won't be able to miss these in a gym because the fan is huge at the front. So the concept of it is, the faster you pedal, the quicker the fan goes and the more resistance that builds up. These also generally have hand controls as well. So when working out on an air bike, you use your upper body and your lower body at the same time. So air bikes essentially are quite basic, to the point of where you don't even have a resistance dial to adjust it. You really have to work on the leg speed and how much force you can generate using that fan. They are a fantastic way to work out, but typically used for very short interval workouts, say 10-20 minutes. Very popular in CrossFit gyms. You don't really get any interactive options, but they are a lot of fun, and knowing you can work your full body on them does go a very long way. So what is a spin bike? So a spin bike is what you're going to see used in a spinning class. It's a bike which is made to resemble an outdoor bike, but instead of wheels, it has just a flywheel on the front, which generates the resistance via an eddy current on frictionless options or a brake pad on friction options. They're a lot of fun and you get a really dynamic workout out of them where you're going to be sitting, standing in an aero position and using lots of different cadences. There are thousands of different options to pick from on the market, and you get lots of ones with interactive capabilities and big screens on the front where you can go into live online classes. This is the Peloton we're talking about here. So an exercise bike, you do get much more choice because they are so popular, and that's what the majority of companies want to make. So now for the fun bit. Let's start comparing air bikes and exercise bikes, because although they look very similar, they are completely different machines. So firstly, we have price and choice. So if you're looking for an air bike, you really are going to be spending between $300 and $600, realistically, for a good one from a reputable company. And you've probably only got about 5 or 6 different choices if you're going for one of the top brands. When it comes to spin bikes, you're looking between $100 for a really basic cheap one, or for an all singing, all dancing model, about $3,500. You also have thousands to choose from. We're not talking 1 or 2 here, we are talking literally thousands of different models. And many of them all from really big companies such as Nordic Track, Proform, Peloton, Echelon. The options are endless. So if you're looking for a more varied budget and more choice, then go for a spin bike. If you know exactly what you want and how much you want to spend, it's between $300 and $600, then you could be looking at an air bike. So then we have size. So some people get really surprised when they order an air bike and it turns up and they just see how large it is. Some of the pictures online do make them look quite small when actually these fans are huge on the front and they actually take up a very large footprint and aren't very easy to move around. When spin bikes are much smaller, they're easier to move around because generally they have wheels at the front, and you can just hide them away in a room so much easier than an air bike. So then we have resistance, and this is a really important factor when it comes to air bikes and spin bikes. So an air bike, you generate the resistance by how quickly you turn the pedals. So if you want light resistance, you're going to be literally going at really super low cadences. If you want high resistance, you need to speed it up really quickly to get that fan spinning. This means making a workout that isn't intervals can be quite challenging and actually quite boring if you wanted to go at low intensity. With a spin bike, you have adjustable resistance. So typically you'll have a dial at the front or a lever. And what you can do is you can turn that up and the pedals get heavier, or turn it down and they get lighter. This means that you can work at many different intensities a lot easier, and it doesn't have to match your cadence. It makes the workouts much more adaptable, you can ride for longer, and it's just a little bit more dynamic and fun in my opinion. I think air bikes are incredibly basic as far as resistance goes, and although they are fun and do have a place, spin bikes definitely win the battle when it comes to resistance. Then we have muscles worked. So an air bike utilises the upper body as much as the lower body. So on an air bike, you have the pedals which you turn and work the lower body, and then you have the handles at the front that you push back and forth to generate that fan further and give yourself an upper body workout. You get the shoulders worked, the arms worked, the back and the chest on an air bike. When on a spin bike, you're really predominantly looking at the lower body and the core more than anything. So if you're looking for a bike which is going to give you an all body workout, you might want to go down the route of an air bike over a spin bike. So then we have intensity. So I use air bikes and spin bikes, and in my opinion, I find air bikes really intense. If you want to get the most out of an air bike, then you need to be going to really high heart rates, and because you're using so much of the body, it does feel really extreme and really intense. As we spoke earlier about resistance, with the spin bike it being adjustable, you can jump on and do a recovery workout, or you could actually do some high intensity work. It does give you much more options. I've always found air bikes though, you really are either giving everything or you're giving nothing. So if you're looking for something with mixed intensity, it's the spin bike. If you really want to just be, digging in and flat out all the time, then the air bike's probably the way forward. So next we have interactive capabilities. So air bikes are very basic. They don't have Bluetooth connections. You generally don't have big screens on the front to keep you entertained. When spin bikes, you do, and the experience is fantastic. So when you get a spin bike, which is mid-range or high-end, you are going to have an amazing experience. Pelotons and Nordic Track S27Is have giant screens on the front, and they put you into live classes where the instructor controls your resistance, so you don't even have to touch the resistance dial. And on the Nordic Track, you even have a motor at the front that simulates inclines and declines. So the experience is fun, it's immersive, you get to do different classes every time, and those capabilities keep you motivated and always wanting to get back on the bike and try something different, do a new workout. So as far as interactive capability goes, you really get so little from an air bike, but from a spin bike you get so much. And finally we have noise. So if you need to be quiet, say you live in an apartment block or a house which is joined to another house, then you're probably going to want to go down the route of a spin bike. They're really quiet. Even the ones that are friction based, you can do a workout late at night and you don't have to worry about waking up your neighbours. If you want to make some noise, then go for an air bike. They are incredibly loud. As soon as that fan gets up to speed, it sounds like there's a plane landing outside your window. So if you need to be quiet, definitely go down the route of a spin bike. So how do you go about choosing between an air bike and a spin bike? So if you still haven't made your mind up, here's the factors that I'd be considering in my 3 steps to picking an air bike or a spin bike. So let's start with the essentials. Price. Is the bike you're looking at in your budget? Then you have space. Is it going to fit in your house or apartment? And finally, noise. Is an air bike going to be too noisy for where you are? Next, we have experience. What do you want to take away from a workout on your bike? Are you looking for a really high intensity full body workout from an air bike, or are you looking for a dynamic workout on a spin bike, which can be many different intensities? And finally, step 3, testing. So if step 1 and 2 haven't given you the answer of what bike to choose, then testing is the way to go. So most commercial gyms have air bikes and spin bikes. So I would highly recommend doing a day pass, going in just for an hour and doing half an hour on each. That's going to give you exactly the answer you need to whether you want an air bike or a spin bike. So thanks for taking the time to watch our video today. So if you've got an air bike or a spin bike, make sure to drop in the comments below your advice. And before you go, make sure to subscribe to the Girl Bike Love YouTube channel. Stay cool.